Once it hits 28-3, is any part of you like, maybe this isn't our game? Is any part of you thinking that or no?
Don't lie. Don't lie, Danny.
Honestly,
don't lie, Danny. Danny was on the sideline saying, what the fuck, guys? This is going to be the worst off season ever. We're not even going to get to do anything. Jesus Christ. I'm probably not even going to be here next year. What was really going through your mind, Danny? Give me the real shit. I want to hear this fucking...
Statistically, one guy on your team had to be like, you blew it. You blew my...
That was probably Chris Long, honestly.
Yo, I've been down in games before, and I've gotten, killed in games before, but I was like, this is the Super Bowl. Everybody's watching this, and we better score just so we don't get run out of the building, honestly, because we were down by so much. And I remember it was a fourth down in the third quarter, and I had caught it out, like a 10-yard out. It was ghost, right? So it caught a 10-yard out on the play, and I was like, at that point was so tired, and I felt like my back was completely against. I thought I was digging myself out of a hole, and at that point, we're just trying to focus on one play after another. Just don't fuck up, so we don't have to hear that shit from Bill, and we could keep rolling.
And that goes to show you the strength of the football team. Like, that's how a lot of guys felt. A lot of guys were like, we're not out of this thing yet. That's how the team felt. Like, it's going to take more. We knew that we had to pick up some things, of course, but like, we were driving the ball decently, and when you play in a Super Bowl, the rhythm of that game is tough, right?
Yeah. Well, the whole time I'm looking at the clock in relation to the score, and I think it was like it read 3:14 and we were down by 16. And I was like, and we're moving the ball a little bit. I think we got it. We just got the strip sack. I think it was like maybe high 2-minute mark. And I'm like, shit, if we score here, we're going to get the 2. And then all we got to do is get the ball back right after that. And then we'll be set. So I was like, the time in my mind was working out.
But then
the time in my mind was working out that it was going to come down to the wire if we did everything right.
But you had to get 2-point conversions, and those aren't easy.
Well, you remember we never put more than 1 2-point conversions in that week, and for whatever reason we had 2-point conversion plays. For whatever reason, the first time we ever did that, so we got to actually practice. Wow. We got to I know. So we already know the 2-point play. It's probably something that we haven't got to run yet because we only run a handful of them a year. But we for whatever reason, I thought it was so odd preparing for the game that we had installed 2-point plays. So I'm like, oh shit. And then it comes down and I'm fucking laughing my ass off. Like, and the second 2-point play was to me. And I was like, we practiced it. I don't even know if it really even worked in practice. It was just kind of like hit or miss. So it was like, but I'm like, these coaches are genius for that.
My theory on this, Sam, is the guy on the wall right behind us, Ernie Adams. He actually cracked the simulation that we're in and knew that it would come down to 2-point conversions because that's the kind of guy Ernie Adams is. Let Bill know. Bill then therefore made the team put in 2-point conversions, and Danny scored the game-winning 2-point conversion to get us tied to then go into halftime or overtime. Overtime.
He is to Belichick what Tex Winter is to Phil Jackson. Is that fair to say? Basically, he's that influential in the Patriots culture.
Ernie.
Yeah.
What do you got any stories about Ernie?
Bill built Ernie his own private press box on the visitor side, and it's like this little tiny 2-seater that Ernie sits and watches every game. It's like an Eagles nest, like Ernie in the Eagles nest up at the top of Foxborough Stadium, top of Gillette. Story wise, I didn't really interact too much with Ernie.
And then they had to build.
I was just super nice. I was just super nice to him. Like he didn't say much to me. I didn't say much to him. I usually dap him up and be kind of awkward with him in the hallway, and then he'd crack a smile. So he'd be he's definitely a football mind and has a lot of perspective on the game.
Do you remember him always bringing in a fucking huge heirloom tomato, and that's what he would eat only for the whole day? He would sit at the table by himself in the cafeteria
Like an
with
apple, he would eat it?
with a fork and
Oh,
knife.
thank God.
He would fork and knife this thing, a little pepper, no salt. He always stayed away from the sodium. And he would eat that thing, and I would just sit there every day, and I'd walk by and be like, hey, Ernie, how's the tomatoes? And he'd go, they're in season.
What? So there's 448. It was 5:56 left in this game. This is when Brady hits you, 6-yard touchdown, Danny. I mean, like, what are you thinking? You get that touchdown. You're down 8.
Yeah. Well, we're down.
Touchdown in your home field.
We were down, and I remember we audibled. I guess they went to cover 4. They moved the slot player inside a shade, and we knew what coverage we were getting. And then Tom signaled Gotti to us, which was basically a 5-yard out and a go on the outside. And it was like I was pretty embarrassed that I fell down and caught the ball. That was the first thing that went through my head. But then I was so thankful that I didn't drop the ball, because I was like, I remember just turning around. Ball was coming fast. And then we were down and tired. And usually you don't celebrate or do shit when you score a touchdown and you're down. So I just kind of ran back to the huddle. You know, I knew we were going to have to go for 2. I already knew the play. I think James White, it was the play, the direct to James White after that.
He had a big game too. What?
Yeah.
James White.
Yeah.
James, isn't he unsung hero?
He's
James
the best,
White.
no doubt. He's one of the best teammates, one of the best players, great running back. This guy looks like Marshall Falk some days in on film, and he's amazing.
What did Tom say anything to you after that play?
No, we were just head was still down. We're still cruising. We got a lot of work to do. We got to come up with the ball and 8 points in a couple minutes. And Julian would always say, I remember I first scored my first touchdown in the Super Bowl. Well, Julian's played in a lot of Super Bowls over the years, and you know, a lot of battles with the the Giants. And he would always tell me, I don't care what you do. He would always, I don't care what you do in this game. It doesn't count unless you win. And I'm like, and then it didn't hit me until we lost. I lost the Super Bowl after a couple of years later. And I was like, yeah, this game, if nobody remembers the people who lost the Super Bowl, like just when like the parade, they put whatever team wins on blast, and rightfully so. But yeah, a lot of good time.
So you score that touchdown, and then Falcons get the ball back. Julio Jones goes up on the sideline, makes a freaking insane catch. Are you sitting there saying, oh, fuck, did we just lose this now?
Yeah.
Like, what did you think about that catch?
Oh, unbelievable. I was right on our sideline too. And he was double covered, I think. I ran that game. I ran some form of too high, but double covered. Matt Ryan obviously put it up only where he could catch it. He jumps over 2 cats and then sticks his toe in the ground. And I'm like, that was the sickest catch I've ever seen in my entire life. And they're about to run this clock out and we're completely fucked. So, I thought that was so sick.
And then you got we felt like we got the extra life when Trey got that sack, and then they had the holding, and then they kind of fucked up a wet dream with that whole play calling sequence, huh?
Yeah, well, they tried to, instead of running the ball, and then they got behind and they tried to make a chunk play out of a 5-step drop, missed the blitz, and Hightower comes out with a big sack. Play of the game.
I mean, this is when things went downhill. I mean, this is like literally I don't think Matt Ryan has recovered from this moment.
We're gonna find out this year. Maybe a new territory, a new environment will help him get rid of those demons of the old 19 or Super Bowl 51.
So
fallout.
So I have to ask you, Julian makes this catch with 2:28 left. What's going through your head when he makes it? Are you thinking he didn't come down with it?
No, I knew he came.
He's covered in out of a movie.
No, yeah,
pile of red shirts on top of Julian.
It was better than the Julio catch. The Julio catch was like pure athletic ability. Looked like amazing catch. Julian was just pure grit and just that ball's not hitting the ground no matter what, no matter who kicks it. Like the route was good, the coverage was good.
The route was shitty, Danny. The route was shitty.
I would have gave him a little. You could have gave him a little.
I rounded it like a banana. We were on
could've
fucking page 9. We were on 99 by then. It was bad. I didn't eat the cushion up. I didn't give him a sellout to the out.
You
Is
could've-
it?
Got it.
You could have.
Isn't that the worst nightmare of your life when you're running a seam versus too high and the safety or in the cover corner looks back at the ball before you do?
I think there's a couple different ways though, because he knew what you were running. Obviously, it was a seam read kind of thing?
Seam read. I think it was
Seam read.
bunker.
Bunker, yeah. So you could either go to the post or cross. You got 2-man. You could have gave him a little bit more outside. I liked how you kept your speed though, because it's hard to give him something and then still keep your speed. He made a pretty good play. He turned around. He was ready to jump for the ball, and he made the best play he could. But the fact that I've watched it over and over, obviously. But the fact that you jumped off one foot and then you're in the air, and in your mind you had already redirected your body, and then you came down and redirected your body the other way when you hit the ground. So you were jumping one way with anticipation to do one thing over here, and then by the time you hadn't hit the ground yet, you had already decided that your foot was going to go the other way, which was impressive to me. And then the fact that dead ball hit, I mean, it's an amazing catch, bro. Amazing.
Did I say any? Do you remember any communication? Did we communicate after that?
Yeah. So I remember I said, "Hey, did you catch that?" And he goes, "Yeah, I caught it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, he caught it." And then, once you said that, I knew you caught it. I knew you were going to bullshit me, but.
Very next play, they hit Dola on the crosser. Was it the crosser for a 20-yard gain? Was that the next play or was it the next third down?
It was. I think it was close to the next play. So we might have had one of
the very next play.
It might have been, yeah. We had a cross, and then at that point, bro, I felt like the dam has broken. We had so much momentum, and these guys were getting so tired conditionally that they weren't ready to follow us around for how many minutes we played, 75 minutes, but we were running so much. We were in better physical condition. Yeah.
And that's one of those things where we used to have to run. We would condition. We conditioned that week of the Super Bowl, and everyone's sitting here like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we conditioning? And once again, Ernie cracked the simulation, knew that we needed to get more sprints in because we were going to have a fucking 99 play game.